Welcome, my friends, to 6 Minutes with James Stahl Jr. I'm Jeremiah Rowlins, but you can call me JR. I humbly represent James Stahl Jr. in this conversation, and I'm honored to have with me today the one and only Pastor Paddington. Now that's quite a formal name, so let's keep it friendly. I'll call you Paddy. Hope that's all right with you.
Well, JR, that's a first for me, but sure, Paddy works just fine. Thanks for having me. What's on the agenda for today?
Oh, you already know, Paddy. Today, we're diving into Genesis 3-5, Matthew 2, and Psalm 2. Now, at first glance, these chapters seem totally unrelated, but some say they all point to Jesus. I, of course, am here to question that, because that's what I do. So my question to you, Paddy, is, are we connecting dots that were never meant to be connected, or is there truly a divine thread running through these passages?
Oh, there's a thread, all right. One woven by God himself. Genesis 3 sets the foundation for everything. That's where humanity falls into sin, but it's also where God gives us the proto-evangelium, the first gospel.
Proto-evangeli what now?
Proto-evangelium, first gospel. When God tells the serpent in Genesis 3:15 that the woman's offspring will crush his head, that's a prophecy about Jesus defeating Satan. That's the first hint of redemption.
All right, Paddy, I hear you. But if Jesus was the plan from the beginning, why all the drama? Why allow sin to enter in the first place? Why let humanity wreck itself before eventually sending a savior? Why not fix things immediately?
Because God's plan isn't about quick fixes. It's about revealing his glory through redemption. If there were no fall, there'd be no need for grace. And no grace means we'd never truly understand the depth of God's love and justice.
So, you're telling me God let things go south just so he could show us how good he is? Sounds a bit like creating a problem just to solve it.
Not let. He foreknew it. And in his sovereignty, he provided a solution before the problem even existed. That's what makes him God. He sees the end from the beginning.
All right, Paddy, I'll give you that, but let's move forward. Matthew 2. Jesus is born. Herod freaks out. Magi show up with gifts. Where's the link to Genesis?
Oh, it's there, plain as day. In Genesis, the serpent, Satan, tries to destroy the promised seed. In Matthew, Herod, another tool of the enemy, tries to destroy Jesus. But just like in Genesis, God protects his plan.
So you're saying Herod is just another version of the serpent?
Exactly. Look at history. Evil always opposes the promise. Pharaoh tried to kill Hebrew babies in Exodus. Haman tried to wipe out the Jews in Esther. Herod tried to kill Jesus in Matthew. The enemy always fights God's plan, but God always preserves it.
Okay, I see the pattern. But now we get to Psalm 2. It's a psalm about kings and nations. How does this connect to Jesus?
Psalm 2 is prophetic. It reveals Jesus as the King and Messiah. When it says kiss the Son in verse 12, that's a command to submit to Jesus' rule. The same baby that Herod tried to kill is the king who will reign over all nations.
Ah, so the baby in the manger isn't just a cute nativity scene moment. He's the ruler of the universe.
Exactly. And the resistance to Jesus started from birth and continues today. People reject him as king because submitting to him means surrendering control.
Oof, that one hits hard. But tell me this, Paddy. How do we practically live this out? It's great to see these connections, but what's the takeaway for real people like me?
Simple. Trust God's plan, even when life feels chaotic. He's been working this story from Genesis to today. Seek Jesus like the Magi did. Worship isn't just singing songs, it's about pursuing him wholeheartedly. Live under his rule. Don't just call him king, but actually submit to his authority in your daily life.
All right, Paddy, I'll admit it. You connected the dots well. But one last question. If Jesus already won, why does the world still look like a mess?
Because we're between the promise and the fulfillment. Jesus crushed the serpent's head at the cross, but we're still waiting for the final restoration. That's why we walk by faith, not by sight.
Man, Paddy, you're good at this. Maybe you should start a podcast.
Or maybe you should start preaching, JR.
Ha! Don't push it, Paddy. But hey, this was a solid convo. I gotta give it to you. You made your case.
That's what the truth does, my friend.
All right, folks, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, whether you're questioning like me or convinced like Paddy, keep digging into the Word. You just might be surprised at what you find. Lastly, share and subscribe for more. God bless you all.